Hi, kindergarten. Today we are going to read a story together called Fit It by Joe Wakaba. And let's look at some of our things. Before we start reading, let's look at some of the words we need to remember and think about words that have S at the end. So over here, let's look at our words to know. And this first word, sits. So we're going to see the word sits in our story. And then we have our sight word, W-I-T-H, with. Can you say that with me? Ready? With. Good job. And we have some words that have S at the end, like tip plus S equals tips. Like I tip it in and he tips it in. Talking about maybe like basketball. So we are going to talk about people who work in stores and have different jobs in our story today. So what jobs have you seen in a store? Think about a grocery store, and when you visit that grocery store with your parents, what are some things that you see going on that is a job somebody is doing? So if you look at this first, job right here, this lady is putting the groceries inside the sacks. So that is her job. So there are lots of different jobs. This man up here, he is stocking the food. So that means he is filling it up so people can purchase it or buy the food. So lots of different jobs. I'm going to read this sentence, boys and girls, and I want you to repeat it after me after I read, okay? Here we go. Fit it. Now you read with me. Fit it. She fits it in. Read it with me now. She fits it in. Good job. Dab it. Now read it with me. Dab it. It sits in a pan. Now read it with me. Ready? It sits in a pan. She dabs it a bit. Read it with me. Ready? She dabs it a bit. So she's making a cake right here, and she is dabbing the icing onto the cake to spell the words. Let's look at this page. Fit it. Read it with me. Ready? Fit it. She fits the tabs in. Read it with me. Ready? She fits the tabs in. So her job is putting the tabs inside this little plastic holder so that the people know what they are buying and the name of the product. Here's our next page. Dip it. Read it with me. Ready? Dip it. She has pans with dips. Read it with me. Ready? She has pans with dips. Fit it. Read it with me. Fit it. She fits 10 cans in. Read it with me. She fits 10 cans in. So all of these cans are going in a special container, and she is fitting them in. Let's read the last page. Tip it. Ready? Read it with me. Tip it. He tips it in bins. Read it with me. He tips it in bins. Good. So that is his job at the store. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to read all of these words that have S at the end. I want you to blend those words and add the S there. And then, boys and girls, I want you to go on a word hunt, go back through the story in the video, and see if you can find your sight words has, it, he, and she. Okay, the last thing we're going to do together is go back in the story and answer some questions. So I want you to think if you can answer this for me. We're going to go back to the very first page where we started our story and look at this cover page. Does she fit in the bag? Does she fit it in the bag? Yes or no? Good. Yes, she fits the groceries inside the bag. So look at the next page. Who dabs the cake? Can you say that out loud or tell someone next to you? Who dabs the cake? Good. She dabs the cake. Let's find that word she right there. S-H-E, she. Look at page 63, this one right here. Who fits the tabs? Who is fitting the tabs? Good. She. Find that word she. S-H-E. She fits the tabs. Look at page 64 right here. What does she have pans with? What are inside the pans? Good. She has pans that have dips in them, different kinds of dips that you can dip the bread or the chips in. Let's look at page 65, this one over here. Does she fit the cans in? Yes or no? Good. Yes, she is fitting those cans in. And let's look at the last one together. What does she dip the bread into, or tip the bread into? I'm sorry. What does he tip the bread into? Excuse me. What are you thinking there? Good. Bins. And look at that clue. It's right here for us. And we can see that bins is what he is tipping that bread into. Great job, kindergarten, reading this with me today. Fit it. And looking for clues in our words and looking for clues in your pictures to answer the questions. Great job.